Good afternoon, hello, and welcome. I'm Renata Joy, and I'm really excited about today's conversation, but I'm more excited about our guests. Tonight, we are honored to have with us Dr. Angela Harden. Dr. Angela is a wellness expert, she's a physician, she's everything. She helps people with she helps aspiring women with health and empowerment. Dr. Angela has an incredible journey from overcoming challenges to becoming a leader in holistic wellness coaching. Her mission is to empower high achieving women to embrace self care, manage stress, and achieve a balanced life. Like she's already talking about me. Today, we'll explore her insights on transforming the hustle into a healthier lifestyle and how we can all strive for well being without sacrificing our ambitions. But before I bring Dr. Angela on, there's a couple of things that I need you to do. First, I want you to grab some pen and paper. I have some as well because I know Dr. Angela is going to give us a lot of strategies, tools, a lot of different things. So make sure that you have some pen and paper. Second, I want you to ping and invite your favorite girlfriend because I know we could all use some tactics with how to handle work-life balance. And finally, we want to hear from you. If you have any questions, if you want to add to the conversation, be sure to put it in the comments. So let's bring on Dr. Angela. Hey, Dr. Angela.
Hey, Renata, how are you? I am super excited to be here. Woohoo!
Like this is a conversation that I am definitely going to be dialed in and like I said, writing notes. And Dr. Angela, I got them prepared. I told them you're going to be stepping on their toes, pulling up on their feet.
Well, hopefully there aren't too many stepping on toes. I am not one of those people who believe in a tough love. No, I like it to be easy. I like it to be, graceful so we can do the things. So I like to love on people, right? So we can still get it done. So I like that positive psychology. Yeah.
She really is. Like I said, that she's very sweet. So let's jump right in. So, Dr.
Yes.
Angela, your article resonated with a lot of readers, myself included. And guys, hang tight to the very end. If you haven't grabbed your copy to purchase yet, I will make sure that you get the link. But let's start with your personal journey. Could you share with us a pivotal moment that really exemplifies your shift from the superwoman mindset to embracing the well woman's approach?
Yes. So I was a superwoman. So I refer to myself now as a former superwoman, now a well woman. Well meaning I wisely elevate my well-being to live my best life. At the start of my career, more than 3 decades ago, I was a superwoman because I went about things as if I didn't need to take time and I didn't prioritize me. I showed up for my family at the highest level, my church at the highest level, my patients at the highest level. But when I did all of that, there was little left over for me. And when I really needed to give more energy and some other things, I was running on fumes. So it was pointed out to me that I was trying to do this thing and I had this S on my chest. I decided, although I was afraid, that if I wanted to be healthier, if I didn't want to go into burnout, that I had to make a change. So the S came off. I put the W on for well, for whole, for wise. And I tell you, one of the best decisions ever made, did not look back. And it's all about the wellness edge now. So former superwoman.
Right. I love that. And that kind of goes into my next question. Many of us, myself included, like I cannot exclude myself here, we're juggling a lot of responsibilities from being a mom, a sister, an aunt, working alongside our business, our church, so many different things that we're juggling. I want to get your perspective for some practical solutions. So,
Yes.
what advice would you give to a woman or a professional looking to weave mindfulness into their hectic schedule? I mean, considering that time is scarce, like we don't, I know we all have 24 hours, but it just seems that it's just running from us.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. Everybody is busy because we have multiple roles and a lot of responsibilities. And five, if you can, and I know all of us can take 5 minutes, thrive with 5. Start with 5 minutes and pausing. I mean, literally. And I say, we all have a device, right? We got a phone, we got a tablet. And if you have to begin by scheduling it, 5 minutes and pause. If you're able to get somewhere by yourself, do that. And sometimes just that 5 minutes break, that interruption in the busyness, the hectic part of the day, the demanding part of the day gives you the opportunity to just woosah. So 5 to thrive, start with 5-minute breaks.
Now, what happens if I schedule this 5 minute break and something comes up? Do I skip it or do I come back? And also, what happens if I'm in the middle of this 5 minute break and now the
Uh-huh.
kids are calling me or my job is calling me? You know, it's specific things that come up.
I know that's real talk, and I love that. That is real talk. You know what? Give yourself grace. The first thing is do not stress out about this. I know we're all high achievers, high performers, right? And we like to get things done. Give yourself grace. So if you schedule 5 minutes and you don't respond to it, you have the next hour, you have the next day, whenever you want to do that. So that's the first thing. And life will happen if you aren't if the kid's not going to do it. Remember, my kids sometimes are young, go in the bathroom and see little fingers, mommy, 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 I'm here. If that happens, take a deep breath and again just reset. You will have the opportunity later that day or maybe the next day.
I like to tell people no is a complete sentence. And it's okay because you got to serve from your overflow. You
Yes.
cannot serve from your own reservoir because then you're no good for anybody else. I was
Mhm.
telling somebody, I recently was traveling, and on the plane, they tell you, if something were to happen, put the mask on yourself first. A
Mhm.
lot of times we think about others, to what you were saying earlier. You put that S on your
Mhm.
chest. I want to save this person and that person. And they tell you, put it on you first because you're no good to anybody else if you're not good.
Mhm.
And so I thought that that was
Exactly.
a great lesson just on a plane ride.
Yeah, yeah. And you're right. And I think everybody is familiar with that illustration about the oxygen mask. Put yours on first so that you can serve others. But that's hard for women because in our society, right, the way we're socialized, it's take care of everyone else. We are nurturers. And then when we take the time out to put the mask on, the oxygen mask or others, we feel guilty. We
Mhm.
feel guilty. And then sometimes others make us feel guilty. So we have to, and then we don't, that goes into that whole cycle of, no, it's not that complete sentence. Well, maybe kind of sort of, I'll fit you in this time, or maybe, but person first, you first, and no. And no feels good. It gets to be a really good thing when you roll off. No,
Mhm.
not at this time. Catch you next time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be mean about
Mm-hmm.
it. It's not what you say, it's
Mm-hmm.
how you say things. So yeah, I agree. But I want to kind of
Mm-hmm.
quickly go back. You mentioned in the beginning when you had the S on your chest, it could have led to burnout. Burnout is a thing. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't think that they could have some of those symptoms. Can you give somebody an idea of what that might look like for them to let them know that they're experiencing the time that they need to pause?
Yeah, burnout is so significant. And I believe that a number of individuals may not really be aware of it and sometimes may not respect it. For physicians, it's so significant for my field that it's like one physician is experiencing, burnout like every day. I mean, the numbers are pretty significant and major stress and also suicide. So this is in our faces a lot. Do not, just keep going. So first we have to recognize that we're not machines, that you have to take time to refuel. You have to take time to recharge. This is everyone, man, woman, if you're starting your career or your experience. So take time for you. Burnout is at the end. Think about the extremes. We can start off with just feeling pressure, maybe some stress that's minor. Then you have in the middle that moderate stress. And then burnout is that extreme part where it's emotional exhaustion, it's physical exhaustion, and it's a disconnect. What usually would be pleasing for you and finding joy in your serving in your career, your business is no longer producing that. And you may also feel as though you don't have control. Whatever is happening in your career, in your industry, things are happening, and your ability to manage things and moderate, that's taken away.
Mhm.
So physical exhaustion, emotional exhaustion, being detached, irritable, mood swings, fatigue, difficulty sleeping, indigestion, and not caring. You could just say, I don't care what you all do. That's it. I'm not leaving here. I'm not working late. And it can result in decreased productivity, decreased engagement. with life. Now, no, again, burnout is such a big topic. I wanted to just give some snippets
No, that's,
about
I
that.
didn't even realize there was so many different pieces, symptoms to it. So thank you for that. Which kind of
Mhm.
goes into the next question that I have for you. I mean, these are all good. I could talk to you for hours, so forgive me with all of these questions. But in your article, and again, hang tight for the end so that you guys can get your own copy. You coined the term "press" to describe the unique pressure a career woman typically experience and she's faced with. Let's dive into that. Can you
Yeah.
share with me, or our audience rather, some strategies? Because I know you got some stuff in your arsenal and I need to like load up my toolkit with, how do I navigate through that press so that I don't, or so that I can maintain some of my career aspirations?
So press, think about those first letters of the word pressure. We all know about pressure, that pressing down and you feel a little tension. P is for pace. We are literally going at a faster pace now. When I was younger, the speed limit was 55, 60 miles an hour. Now it's 70, 75 miles per hour. And because we do things at a faster pace, we have on demand, we have instant, we feel as though we have to go at that fast pace. So we need to slow it down. We need to scale it back some. And when I talk about meditation, meditation is one thing that helps us to slow down. We have those roles. Many of us are fulfilling multiple roles and responsibilities, and that can feel like it's pressure. What are you doing that lines up with your purpose, with your desires? If you are constantly saying yes to a lot of things and you haven't taken the time to reflect and evaluate, is this what I really need to do? Or is this serving me in this season of my life? You may have multiple hats on and some things are outdated. That E is related to it. And I changed these up a little bit. So if you've seen it someplace else, you know, Dr. Angela said something else. There are a lot of things with this press. So because this topic is really big, the E is for this excessive amount of data, right? We have so many things to look at now. We have multiple channels. We have 24 ice cream selections, whatever it is. We are often given the responsibility or the ability to decide. That's information overload sometimes. And with that information overload, that can leave us with mental overload. We feel as though this is just way too much. And then that's the mental chatter. And then that's the mental kind of clutter. And that can result in the decrease in our mental energy.
Mm.
That S is for society, how society socializes boys and girls and men and women. Boys and men are socialized to play to win, to play full out, to be confident, to be assertive, to know that they don't have to have every quality on that list to apply for that promotion, right? 20 things listed. They may have 10. They go, hey, I'm going for it. Women, we feel as though I don't have all 20. Oh, I can't do it. So we're socialized to play small. And that may hinder us many times because we don't step up and step out. And then those self things, self-belief, our self-talk, our actions, that self-confidence. Sometimes we're not compassionate, self-compassion. So when we put all those things together, we tend to be overcommitted, overextended, overwhelmed, and that press, we are right there with that. So I mentioned some of the things that we can do for that. Slow down, look at our season, look at our purpose. Is the role and responsibility still relevant? How do we look at all this data, make some decisions and boundaries, and then recognizing the expectations, what's realistic, don't fall into perfectionism, and then also our self-talk, our inner self-care, very important for building up who we are and to be authentic. Is that
I
when
mean,
I
that was a
okay.
lot. That was a mouthful. I mean, the question that stands out for me is, do you find, your clients, they're doing things that they thought was good for them at one point, but because they haven't taken that time to like pause, it doesn't serve them well like it used to. They've changed, things around them change. Like you said, the speed limit change, different things are changing, and this information overload, it can be a little tricky because sometimes with information it causes you to feel like you should be something that you're not, so now you're chasing the Joneses as opposed to being true and holding yourself. The ownership is on you to determine what's for you and what's not for you. You can't be moved by all of this information is good depending on how you disseminate it and how you use it.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Exactly. And right. And if we're always going at such a rapid pace or also this high intensity, it's not as easy, or we are distracted instead of being focused to look at and to make decisions about what's relevant in this time. We just are filtering through a lot of things. And it just adds to what we don't need at the moment.
Oh, this is so good. Now, here's another one. We hear this concept all the time, the work life balance. I'm sure a lot of our listeners, this is what they're here for, this question, because this is something that we hear all the time. It's discussed, but it's often not understood. So, can you share
Yeah.
with me? I know you deal with a lot of clients, and I'm sure you have to always debunk this myth. So, help
Mhm.
our readers out. What is work life balance, and how do you actually navigate that? How do you
Yes, and this
your
mhm. This is one of my favorite concepts because you're right. So many people feel that it's something else, and there are some myths related to that. Work life balance is not, first of all, 50-50. It doesn't mean that your personal life is going to be 50-50 with your professional life or everything is going to go right down the middle. It is not that. Balance is not about 50-50. Another thing I encourage people to say is use the word that resonates with you. It may be work life balance or balance, it could be harmony. And for some people, especially when they're in the career lane, they may say, well, I like work life integration, how work and my personal life come together. Whatever word works for you, whatever word lights you up inside where you go, ooh, that's for me, and I'm learning and I know how to blend my life. I believe it's about blending. So if blending works for you and that is calming, then it's about work life blending. You are blending the parts of your life so that you have peace and harmony. They don't conflict. If I may, Renata, share just a brief story about why balance for me is exciting and why it's user friendly. In medicine, there's a term we talk about balance because the body is constantly balancing. If there's too much of something, it compensates to balance it out. If it's not enough for something, if something is turned on, turned off. So the body is constantly adjusting
Mhm.
balance, and it's called homeostasis. Balancing is something we all do. If you ride a bike, if you roller skate, if you ride a horse, if you dance, there are some things that we're always balancing. We balance our checkbooks. We
Mm,
balance our assets and liabilities. We balance our investment portfolios, right? Because we're organized and we're ordering. We make changes, we adjust because we want to optimize the results. So when we talk about balancing and how I learned about balancing, and I was a kid riding my bike, it was about the position. If I leaned too much to this side, I was off center and I wasn't stable. If I leaned too much forward, I was off center. But when I learned how to balance and I could adjust whatever way my bike went, I was balancing. And when I took those, when my parents took the training wheels off and I balanced, then I had more speed and I could go further. So I had more freedom. And then I was able to learn the tricks, right? And we would pop the bike up and we could turn on one wheel or we could ride with no hands. So it was about repositioning wherever I was to have balance, and I had more speed, I have freedom, and I have greater ability to do some things and step out. So balancing or blending your life, the different parts in ways that make sense for you so
mhm.
that you have that inner peace and clarity. So you may remember this picture. Dr. Angela was riding that bike, riding that bike. So
I love it. I love it. And what I also love, and I had never heard this explained like this, is it's not about the number. Because you hear people say you want the 60-40, 50-50. I mean, they're always, equating it to numbers, and you remove the numbers from it. I love that. And you're making it your own. For
yep.
me, I want peace, right? And like you
Yes.
said,
Yes.
not right or wrong, it's what's true to me. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. The
Mm-hmm.
blending. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with your work, you've touched many lives, different ways. Let's hear about the impact that you've made. Could you share a memorable success story of a client who's experienced the transformation, the significant transformation that I know that they're getting through your empowerment coaching?
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of the people, women that I work with in my medical practice, men too, but in my coaching is women, and whether they're in the entry level with their positions, mid level or higher, a lot of them are dual roles, entrepreneurs and employees, or they serve in leadership, and it is about the schedule, and truly is how do I put everything together, and what do I need to delegate, and what do I need to really give my time and attention to. And I've had some women who the schedules change and they work shifts. I've had some nursing clients. And so their thought was my schedule needed to look the same every day. Monday through Friday or whatever the work days, I needed to do the same thing. Or I work 3 days on, I work 3 days off. And they were aiming to fit everything as if the schedule was, again, continuous. He was like, no, let's sit down and map out, what does your schedule look like? What does your life look like these days? What does your life look like when you're not at work, when you're not, serving, when it's not X, Y, and Z? And we were able to identify their peak times. Remember, it's about them.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that you need, your family needs, that only you can provide, that give you joy, that give you excitement? And those are your key things. What are the things, and on what days? And so we were prioritizing based on their needs. We prioritized based on their health needs too. And then it was about what is going to give you the most joy. And for high performing people, sometimes that's difficult because we want to put our hands on everything, right? I got to touch it, but you got to prioritize and you have to delegate.
So it sounds like you emphasize doing almost like a life audit. You're actually being like how people do like a food diary if they're trying to figure out if there's like a something that they're allergic to. Sounds like it's the same thing that you walk them through for their life, like a life audit.
Exactly. And in this situation, remember, we are familiar with health. We know what health is. We always talk about health. It's either healthy or it isn't, but there's more to it. Health is like the absence of illness, but wellness is what adds value, what comes into that. And for today's professionals, it's not simply health, physical health. Now we hear a lot about mental health, but for women in particular, where does your career fit in? And holistic is whole person, body, mind, spirit. And that spirit or soul part, some people call it soul, part of that is going to be, how are you showing up in the world? How are you serving through your career, your business leadership? And so if that is not included, and someone is like, oh, it's just my energy level, but they aren't looking at workplace, not looking at what fulfills you from that professional standpoint, it's going to be imbalanced. That's where some of the imbalance comes, right? Because not just 50-50, but you're not nourishing a part of you.
And it's going to take you being transparent and honest, because it's almost like when you go see your doctor, if you don't give them the full story, you got to let them help you, right? So it's the same thing, I would imagine. This is when you're at that point of meeting with you should be at a place of being transparent and honest with yourself.
Yes, but you like to say real talk, but many things in life, they come in stages. And honestly, and so we if we look at like weight loss, we talk about weight loss. It's not a matter of calories in, calories out. It's the food component, it's the exercise component or activity, but it's also the lifestyle component. So if there are, let's say, 10 actions or habits that are important for this individual in front of me, that individual may be ready to make changes in 2 or 3 of those, maybe thinking about changes in a couple, but may not yet be ready to make changes in others. So when I'm sharing with clients, again, it's all about helping the client to discover where they are. It's what is most important for you at this time, and where are you ready to make the changes? Where are you ready to prioritize or to elevate? And then it's providing that support in those areas and stages of readiness.
Got you. So it may not be every area that they're ready, but whatever areas they're ready to focus on, that's where you're able to lend the support. Understood.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
Man, this is good. Like, I'm learning a lot. I feel like I'm in session with you. Now, before we wrap up, I got a fun little twist.
Okay.
I give you a couple of categories for a mystery question, and you selected personal growth. So she doesn't know what this question is. You ready? It's a mystery question.
Ready for the question.
Okay. If you could instantly master any skill or an area of knowledge, what would it be, and how would you use it to further your mission of empowering women? And I can repeat it if you want me to.
I like that. So this one is related to a hobby that I started a couple of years ago. I started taking riding lessons, horseback riding lessons.
Ooh, okay.
So my skill would be to jump, to learn how to jump. Horseback riding, if we talked about that balance, so it involves balance, it involves courage. And for me, a city girl, street lights, sidewalks, the whole shebang, to have a desire to ride horses, totally different. And as an adult, looking at this horse, this animal that's huge, and I'm on it by myself, and the instructor is giving me, instructions, and it's, of course, many lessons on what to do, how to do it. And I'm up on that horse, and when the horse picks up speed, I have to be in control. So
Mhm.
that skill will take me to out of my comfort zone. It's a different mindset that I have to have. It's a different skill set. And it's about some trust in me to do that, and humility too, because I'm an adult. So if I'm there with a lot of younger people who've been writing for years or what have you, to be there to say, you know what, this is new for me, and
Mhm.
I'm willing to be humble to learn. And so that what I mentioned, those skills are things that translate to what I do, stepping out of the comfort zone, having courage, belief that I can do it, being humble, and knowing that there'll be people who are more experienced and not comparing with other people.
Wow, I would have never expected. Yeah, she had no idea what the question was, but it went all right back with your conversation. This has been
Mhm.
really good, Dr. Angela. You've given us so much to digest, process, but more importantly, to take action. And I appreciate that. So you didn't leave people like, what can I do? But we are in the season of giving. And Dr. Angela has an ebook that she wants to give to us. So, Dr. Angela, I'm going to put on the screen your book, your ebook. But can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about your ebook?
Yes. So this ebook is entitled From Hustle to Harmony, and it is a 14 days exploration of mindfulness. Mindfulness is one of the key tools that I have in my wellness toolkit. And wellness is about being present right here in the moment so that we're not in the past fretting and rehearsing, or we're not in the anxiety of the future. And there are multiple benefits of mindfulness: reducing stress, reducing anxiety. It gives us the ability to calm. And before I mentioned the 5 minutes to thrive. And in this book that I've written, I talk about mindfulness activities that can be done in as little as 5 minutes. Now, if this is something that you add to your lifestyle, you may enjoy it and you may go beyond the 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And you may find that times it may be more than 10, 15, 20. We're busy. Many people have demanding schedules. And when you first begin to make that step to prioritize you and say yes to wellness, it may be 5 minutes, 10 minutes that you really can only see that you can schedule. So it's interactive. Again, it's an PDF. So you can print it out. I think, yeah, I just changed it. So it's an ebook and then the other thing. Yeah. So I have to
Awesome.
think about that. I know. Yeah. Okay. I was like, which one? Yes. Okay.
I told you guys she would be so great. Now, if you're interested in reading Dr. Angela's story or other inspiring stories, feel free to go grab yourself, purchase a copy of Bootstrap Magazine. Look, she has it there, bootstrapmag.com. Her article is amazing. You know, she just gave you guys some insight into that article and more about her. I hope that you guys do follow Dr. Angela. She has a plethora of information. But again, if you're interested, if maybe you can get a gift for yourself or someone that you know that's looking to enhance their personal or professional life, for, like I said, other inspiring stories, whether it's personal development insights or how to travel, do's and don'ts, Bootstrap has you covered. So feel free to
Mhm.
grab and purchase yourself a copy. Well, we're at the end of another conversation. This was so good. I mean, I feel like they all are, but this one I felt like was for me personally because yeah, I love how you explained the work life balance to take away that equation of trying to figure out how to get that 50-50. Take the
Yes.
numbers out of it. I love it. That's the one thing that I got
Mhm.
from this. I hope that all of
Wonderful.
you have found this conversation valuable and that you have some insights now how to actually break through some of the things that Dr. Angela explained to us tonight. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And thank you so much for hanging tight with us to the very end. We look forward to seeing you the next time.
Thank you.